One, here we go. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Enough Is Enough SC2020. I'm one of your co-hosts, Shawn Cornelius.
And it's your boy Talent over here, baby. You know, when we in here, we tired. We fed up. Enough is enough.
Yes, sir. How you doing tonight, T?
Hey, man, I feel wonderful. Like I was saying off air, it was a very productive day, very motivated Monday. So I jumped on early, and all day long I've been sharing this energy, man. Very positive, very good.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, myself too, man. I had a great day, very productive day, business-wise, personal-wise, just kind of relaxing. Got really good news about my nephew. We thought he might have had the virus, but he doesn't.
Oh, so, God bless. That's what's up.
And my niece is doing well. So there's been a really good positive energy today with personal and business stuff happening.
Oh, that's a good thing right there, man. You know what I mean? I think my energy started with, I went on social media earlier and seen a post. A young lady posted a picture of her and Rodney Perry and was like, prayers up, right? So I go to his page and I was so uplifted because the brother has, he's fighting the virus. He's in the hospital and he had the tubes hooked up to his nose and everything. And he is going live on Instagram, making everybody laugh. And people that was getting sad, he was cutting them off like, not now. We're not doing that. We're just trying to spread the word that it's real out here and do the right thing. And that just uplifted me to the ceiling.
And for those that are in here or that don't know, Rodney Perry is a comedy comrade of ours, a very talented gentleman, known throughout the business. And he did go live and to update us on his. So a lot of prayers and love to Rodney Perry. Now, we were like one third short, but she's here now, but she's sideways. I don't know if I'm drunk, you drunk, she's drunk, but she's kind of, there you go. There you go. What's going on, Miss Onika?
You're very black tonight. You're very black with your lateness.
Yeah, we can't hear you, so unmute yourself.
Oh, unmute yourself.
This is Khadija.
Well, listen, Khadija is late too.
Okay.
So, good to see you, sweetheart. How you doing?
I told her, I was like, don't be like, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Anything after sorry is an excuse. I apologize.
There you go. It's good to see you though. No worries. Well, listen, we started this thing off. We got a full show tonight and people are still popping in. So I want to get the show started. Special guest, one of our special guests actually waiting, watching what we're doing. And the young lady I told you about last week, who is a survivor of domestic violence. She has her own organization, W.A.P.W. We Are Phenomenal Women. She's already in the show. So we want to bring her on board and get this conversation started. Plus, I've got people blinging in the doorbell. So there's more folks coming in from the show. So I'm going to...
Oh, it's a busy night. It's going to be a busy night.
Very busy night. And they're
probably... Come on in, have a seat.
So here's how we're going to do it. We'll continue to do it like we normally do. We'll let people come in. We'll have them mute their voice, their microphones. And we'll just talk to our guests. And at the end of the segment, we'll let everybody chime in. Correct? We do it that way again?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right. So, Sherneice, I see you're in here still. So please come on into the show. And like I said, we have other people popping in, and we're going to just make sure they mute themselves. And watch this. Thank you so much for being here tonight. This is going to be a great show, very informative. And we're going to keep that because this is something else we need to discuss and talk about. So thank you so much for accepting the invitation, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you once again. My name is Sherneice Gatewood. I am the CEO of We Are Phenomenal Women, and I hope everybody hears me because I have some information to give, and I just want everybody to get this information and basically take it all in and understand that domestic violence is real. So We Are Phenomenal Women is an organization that pretty much want to educate our people in general, because we so busy thinking that domestic violence is one-sided, which is only about women. No, men go through it as well. And most of the time that domestic violence trigger down to our children too. So if you think about it, it goes from the woman, the man, right? Then the children. And then what happens with the children? The children will grow up to be perpetrators or victims of domestic violence as well. So it's a ongoing cycle. So we are Phenomenal Woman want to educate our people on it. We want to empower our people. We want to heal our people. We want to inspire our people and just let them know you can't get out of this relationship, that type of relationship. But you got to learn to love thyself first. I was a victim of it for 20 something years, and I wound up having a baby, and I would have had more babies, but I decided, why would I bring another child in this world and a father is abusive to me? Why would I get married to someone who's going to kick my ass? You know, so I decided no. Like we said, enough is enough. And that's why I got to. 7 years of the bull crap, enough was enough for me.
Can I ask a question? Because we want to be very transparent with this conversation, because there might be people out there that might be going through it right now, or might have gone through it. So let's go back to can we go back to the beginning of your situation with this gentleman, of where it probably was, everything was okay. So when did you kind of realize that something was out of kilter with the situation? Was it a verbal thing? Was it a mental thing? Was it a physical thing? Because when I hear conversations about domestic violence and the abuse thing, it's kind of like it's a cloudy from some people. Well, I didn't know, loves me, and no, he doesn't do it. He wouldn't, you know what I mean? Oh, I hit you the first time. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Like, when did you realize that kind of thing, when it started? When did you realize?
Okay, so pretty much I was 18 years old, and I thought I was grown. It was like, I'm getting out there. I'm trying to get some stuff. You know, we going to keep it real. We're going to keep it 100.
You gotta get your stuff, girl. You gotta get your stuff.
So I'm 18 years old, and I'm smelling myself, as they say, smelling myself. And I didn't want to be home all the time no more. I didn't want to babysit my mother's children. I wanted to be doing my own thing. And this particular day, I called him, and I was like, you know what? I'm running away. You know, I was on the phone like, I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. I'm running away. And him and my mother got into the biggest fight, and I wasn't there. I had ran out the house with my big old plastic bag, because I tried to get all the good clothes. And I ran into another building. And I didn't know that them two was fighting. And when they was fighting, one had
physically fighting?
Yes. One, he had I think a 4x4, a stick, and my mom had a dog chain. And them two got into it. I didn't know what was going on. He came into the next building and said, "Come on, let's go." So now we walking down the avenues, and I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, your mother came out with a dog chain." And I was like, "Oh, Lord." I mean, I said more than that, but and next thing you know, I wound up staying with him. Now, when I stayed with him, his mother was West Indian. She didn't care for me. I was in a little tiny room with him. It was just a twin size bed, one of them wardrobe closets, the TV, and a fish tank, and that was it. That's all that could go in that room. And she didn't know I was there. So I couldn't get up and just go to the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom. You know the young man that beat the drums out in the street? Well, actually, that's one of my homeboys. But the white bucket, I don't even look at those buckets no more, because I used to pee in those buckets. Because why? I couldn't use the bathroom. Now, if I had to do anything else, if I had to take a shower, he would have to hug his mother, and I had to like go around them and go into the bathroom. So I knew, I should have known then. But you got to remember, when you come from a family violent household and you run into the arms of an abuser, you're thinking, this is what I'm used to. You understand? I'm used to my mother whipping my ass because I go into the arms of my abuser, and he do the same thing. So it's like, my mother used to say, well, I did this because I love you, or I did this because you was on punishment. I did this because you did X, Y, and Z. And then when I get into the arms of the abuser, it's like, I did this because you made me do this, or you didn't do this right, or whatever the case might be. So now in my head, I'm thinking, I didn't even know the word domestic violence. So after a while, he started hitting me with the remote control, the old school remote control. And then he used to say, you know, harshful words to me. You ain't never gonna amount to nothing. You ain't never gonna do shit, you know, things of that nature. So it was like
Lowering your self-esteem.
right, putting me down, you know. And while he's putting me down, the worst thing that anybody could do is say these things in your ear.
Right, because you start hearing it and you start believing it.
It's starting to play back in your head.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't never gonna amount to nothing, da 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 da. So meanwhile, I couldn't go back home because he already beat up my mother. So then I should have known then. There's a problem.
But then you didn't have any place to go because now your mom.
Exactly. I didn't have no place to go. So I had to stay there. So while I stayed there, these are the things that I was going through: the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the verbal abuse. And, you know, his mother didn't know I was there. So I was pretty much trapped. I was like a prisoner in my own mess. I was the room was like a cell. You know, I could describe these things now, but back then I couldn't describe it that way.
How long were you in that situation?
I was in there about 7 years, off and on.
7 years in that room?
No. About at least about a couple of years. You know, every day I cried myself to sleep. So to keep up, if you think about it, if you know anyone who went to prison, they don't keep up with those days. They don't keep up with the days. The days is like, okay, I just want to get by that day. I want to get by that day. So I can't really tell you how many years I've been here, but I remember in the course of me dealing with this, it was about 7 years, off and on. I want to leave you. He followed me, stalked me. You know, I had a baby by him. It was just so much stuff going on in the course of this relationship.
Wow.
So, because now, domestic violence is at an all-time high because of the pandemic. You know, you read so many articles lately that it's so many women and men and children that are being abused just because of the higher stress levels. And so can you tell us a little bit about your organization and, you know, how you got started with that? Okay, so the organization started in 2015, 2017. 2015 is when I decided I want to do something. Now, when I was going to school in college, I always wrote stories about domestic violence. But then I started wanting to cater to the children because bullying is the baby of domestic violence. Right. So I wanted to work with the children, and I'm like, wait, hold up. Let me get back to what I know. This domestic violence is something that Sherneice knows because I was a part of it. And 2017, We Are Phenomenal Women came because Maya Angelou, Phenomenal Woman. Yeah, I love that poem. Yes. Your arch of the back. That's right. That's right.
I think that's when I met you because there was a program in the Bronx.
Yes.
Harris had, and she asked me to do the Enough Is Enough song. Right. And you were there that night talking about your situation.
My story, yeah.
And that's when I was like, wow, you know, and here we are a few years later. But I wanted to ask you really quick, because we discussed a few things prior to this. You can get back to the organization, but you wanted to talk about the flags. I think it's important to get.
Oh, the red flags, right.
The red flags that for the people that are watching and listening, that, you know, because some people don't think those are flags. So could you please go into what some of the flags are?
Very good, Shawn. Very good.
Well, thank you for asking, because that is something that's super important, because I did not know it was red flags. I thought it was love, you know, because I was going through this at home. So it was like, my mom would say, I love you. But meanwhile, I just got my butt wet. But she loves me. So
what is a flag? Like, what is one of the flags?
I'm going to explain it. So when you have someone who is super jealous, because let me tell you something. I don't care who it is, almost every human being have some type of jealousy in them. But
Right.
you're super jealous, as in you're constantly calling, you don't want this person to be around people, or when you call, he or she call and say you're at work and who you talking to? Who's that behind you? Whoa, wait a minute now. I'm at work, you know. And another red flag, because I wanted to make sure I wrote some stuff down so that
Shawn
way.
looked like he would be like that, by the way.
No, he doesn't.
Shawn looked like, who you on the phone with?
I look like I would be like that. Who you on the phone with?
Not at all, exactly. But yeah, more of your,
Onika, you funny.
And I'm short too. I'm like 4'11". I'll be like, first of all, pick me up. Pick me up. So I can
Oh my goodness. It's true. It's true. It's true. Also, when somebody is blaming you for all the wrongdoing, always constantly, because I lost my job, it's because of you, and you didn't want to do this, and whoa, wait a minute. You lost your job because of your own merit, your own craziness, not because of me, you know.
Right.
Blame you for everything, like I said. Oh, definitely. Tell you what to wear. Tell you what to wear.
Crazy.
Like,
that's crazy.
Oh, okay. Like that dress is too short, or that
dress is too short.
That's crazy.
That's not nice on you. But meanwhile, while you wore it with him at the beginning of the relationship,
it was all good.
It was all good. It was like you got compliments. People was looking. Now
it's control.
He doesn't want you to wear it. Right. It's power and control. You know, he don't want you to wear that, or he don't want you to hang out with your friends no more, or, you know,
isolation.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. So it's so many others afraid to break up. I know, like, all of us up here is older. So I know.
Not me. I mean, normally I look way better than this because
yeah, not me.
I had a hard day.
That's very good for you. Yeah, that's it.
Listen, black don't crack. It's okay.
Not at all.
However, I know y'all heard stories like, if you leave me, I'm gonna kill myself.
Of course.
Yeah, that happens to me but I. You know,
now it happens to you.
I'm sorry. I'm just making some levity.
Let's stay focused.
Right.
And, because I want to make sure that the folks that are watching and listening get exactly what we need to get out.
Right.
Okay, let me stop.
You know, you did with the, you know, with your organization, and you're still doing things, and you spoke to me about something else, but because of time, focus on time. What advice can you give? Because we can tell people all day what to do, but if we're not in a situation, I've never been in a situation, it's hard for people to do, you know what I mean? So what kind of advice or startup advice could you give to someone, you know, that's going through a process, they ain't saying nothing about it?
I definitely want to say, see, y'all got me in trouble, so let's get back to serious now. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to say is never tell somebody you're stupid for staying. I mean, we might think it. Like, you need to get out. No, he's going to kill you. At the end of the day, I had one person, and I mean one person, that was on my side and pray with me, cry with me, everything, was my cousin. And my cousin let me know, you deserve so much more. When you're ready, then let's make a move. But most of the time, you got to remember at the beginning what I said was, in them dark nights, you would hear somebody saying, you ain't shit, you ain't never going to get nothing, you ain't never
when your
going to
defenses are down. Yeah, when your
those words will stick in your head. And if you ever leave me, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Those things stick in your head. So now it's like, if I leave, he's going to kill me. If I leave, he's going to kill himself. Yeah. So you wind up staying in the situation. It's called the emotional abuse. And it really affects you.
Were you able to go to therapy, or how? what do you think about that therapy as it relates to violence?
That's a good question. A lot of people, first of all, us being Black Americans, we need therapy because we go through so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have trauma on top of trauma.
I was gonna say we're born into trauma. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Because of situational, historical things.
Exactly.
But let me say this real quick. Playing devil's advocate to a lot of the signs and symptoms of, to look out for. It reminds me of the expression, all things in moderation, because all those things that I can hear someone saying to someone in a relationship, until it's excessive and outside of moderation, it sounds like, puppy love, adulation, infatuation, lust, all these things can acquire that. Like, every relationship, someone can always plead and cry, hey, don't ever leave me. I don't ever want to leave you. I don't want us to ever break up. And in a general sense, that's understandable and borderline tolerable. But when it comes out of moderation and goes into an excessiveness, it's like, whoa. It's like you said about the clothing, same thing. Like, I don't want you wearing it. I enjoyed it because it was what you had on that made you a beautiful woman that attracted me. Exactly. And now that I have you, and now that we're a union, I want you to not wear it now because it's going to attract other people, and you're taking.
Right. But what about the fear? It's probably the fear aspect of it, because you still know you got a choice, right, Talent? If you say you don't want me to wear that, and I know that I have ultimately the choice is mine, that's different. That's different.
No. Ultimately, the choice is yours. But what I'm saying is, I'm understanding where he's coming from, where a man may be coming from because we all, at some form of fashion, she's correct. At some form of fashion, we all have this built-in mechanism of a jealousy, right? So in a relationship, if you know what the attributes your female companion has, right? You know what attracted you. You know she's voluptuous. You know blah, blah, blah. So what she may have worn in the beginning stages of y'all getting together, now you don't want her wearing it no more, because now it's like the Muslim women have to cover up. Now you want that to self, and A, you want it for self. B, you don't want the competition. You think that every time she steps out and she's wearing XYZ, this is a problem.
Okay, so I just want to say two things. One, Onika, I believe that we need counseling, because that's why a lot of women, and I'm saying women because I am one, we do not hold on to relationships because we already damaged for one. And when we try to move on to someone else, even though that one person is not the same, we still have those triggers and those in our head.
People don't realize that part.
So counseling is needed.
It's like PTSD.
Right.
So after you have been in an abusive relationship for a certain amount of time, anything can trigger you, and now that other person,
and guess what?
It's
you
really
become
hard
the aggressor.
For women to, you become the aggressor, because what happens is you feel like you had no power. Because I have I was doing a domestic violence podcast, and I work with Safe Horizons, but what happens is the PTSD of it. So that trauma from that last relationship, oftentimes it stems back from childhood for your kid. So you don't even see the man that you're dealing with as your man or your mate. You see them as maybe your abusive father, your abusive uncle, your abusive mother. It just carries on, and you never really grow up. You're still this abused kid. Yeah, it's a whole psychological thing about it.
Now with Talent was saying now, okay, if you are a woman, man, so I believe a woman, not a woman in a girl's mind, a woman would know I should not wear that because that's too tight and that's too showing my body too much. I do have a man, and I must respect my man.
Your choice, right?
So, I mean, if your man say, "Listen, babe, that's a little bit too tight. You shouldn't wear that." That's understandable. But I mean, fighting you take that shit off. I mean, there's a difference, what I'm saying.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I said all things in moderation, because a man can express that in a moderation type of way and not an excessive force way that he's still borderline normal. This is a normal exchange you guys are having. It's when it gets excessive where you like, that's a trigger, like, yo, not the fact that it just happened initially, because even if what you just said was very important, even if you say, well, hey, I'm a grown ass woman and I know that I have a man, so I'm only dressed this way, that still may not be enough in his eyes. You guys make different opinion on what's, scandalous and what's classy. And you may think, no, I toned it way down. This is classy. And to him, in his mind, he still thinks that's a little too risque and out there.
Right.
I have not approved this outfit.
You ain't bought it either.
I hate her.
It's true.
Here we are, right? Here we are with the beginnings and the conversations and things. And I wanted you. I'm looking at some of the comments, you guys, and before we finish up with you, I want you to make sure you put all your information, because there's people that are making comments that would probably love to speak with you, connect with you, communicate, and it may not be for them. It might be for them. Could be for a family member and or whatsoever. But we do have another guest waiting. But I want you, again, since we're doing great on time, but something important that you really want to add to this, because we discussed it, and at the end of it, I want you to give your information where people can reach out to you, and also type it in the chat. But you've already told us about your experiences. You told us about the organization, and I know you got some things coming up because you spoke to me off Zoom earlier when we talked about something you have coming up. So please, whatever you want to say in this final minute or two for the people out there.
Okay, so I'm gonna bust this out real quick. Woo! All right. So right now I'm working on a GoFundMe. Is W.A.P.W Domestic Violence Shelter. I am working on getting a shelter for our ladies, single women, maybe 15 beds. However, I don't want to just talk at these events. I want to be able to help people, take them to another level. So I need help and donations from the people in the community. With the DVPs, I can't tell people where it's going to be located, but let me tell you, I am so real to what I'm doing. If you want to know any information besides the location, you're more than welcome. We also are working on an all-male panel. I believe that we need to do this. We need our women to understand, yes, these men have gone through X, Y, and Z. Stop saying, I want a man, but your man could be damaged too. And if you're damaged and he's damaged, what's going to happen? Not a healthy relationship. So in October, I'm working on an all-male panel. So if anyone who would like to be a part of that, put my email in there, hit me up. Let's do this. Also, I'm working on a walk in August, walk against domestic violence. Also in October, not August, in October. So We Are Phenomenal Women is doing great stuff. We fed the community. We also get school supplies for our children. We did a youth event, because guess what? Our youth is not, you think they dumb? They're not dumb. They are very smart. They know what's going on. And they also have their own opinions on things too, like bullying. They're about to go back to school. So I wanted to open up and let's have a conversation about them with bullying. What to do if you're being bullied? Let's talk about it. COVID-19, let's talk about it. How do they feel? How do our youth feel? So I just did that July 26th. So I hope I sums all that up real quick.
Nah, you're good. See, that's exactly, I really appreciate you again accepting the invitation to come, because this conversation could go on forever. And I want people to be able to get to you outside of this platform. And outside of the 24 people we have here, we're streaming live on Facebook. And I just got hit up in my inbox letting me know that people are watching on Facebook.
Oh, great.
We got a whole bunch of situations and folks that are here watching. Now, before I do stop it, let me see. Is Kartier Conway still on? I'm not sure if he's still here. And that's our other guest. So if he's still here, we can bring him on and get to his topic. But if not, we can continue with what's happening.
One other thing we want to make sure that we say that you can take If you're not sure that you are a victim of domestic violence, you can go on the National Domestic Violence website, and there's a test. And you can take a 15 question test, and it'll let you know if you are a victim of domestic violence. Sometimes you do not know, because oftentimes people are dealing with narcissists, and they have done mind games on you, and you're second guessing everything that's happening in your existence. But there's a questionnaire that you can totally fill out, and it will help you. And then the domestic violence hotline, you can call them anytime, any day. We'll put that in the comments and as well, so that you have that information. I was doing a podcast with a young lady called Violently Funny, and we discussed domestic violence, and we had a bunch of people on. It's a lot of people in this area trying to help young women, young girls, young guys. You know, a lot of people are in homosexual domestic violence relationships, you know, and it's just a lot going on. And when you're under stress, it just happens more.
Gotcha.
So we want to wrap. Thank you so much for your time. It was greatly appreciated.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
So
say your email address, just in case someone is not looking at the chat. They can just spell out your email address so that people can follow you. And
that is S Gatewood, GATEWOOD WAPW @gmail.com.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Popping up on the screen, right, if you can see him, he just popped back in, Brother Kartier Conway. Please unmute yourself. And he's a guest because of Talent. Talent hit me up with this brother's information. So Talent, if you want to bring him, introduce him, or you want me to read, however you want to do it.
You got it, brother. Handle it. You got it.
Kartier,
I'm happy he made it.
Yeah, he just popped back in. So please unmute your microphone. There you go.
How y'all doing?
Good, bless. And really quickly about this gentleman, a little bit about his information. Kartier, he mentors families through gun violence crisis. And last year he had to deal with his own situation. And there's an organization called Guns Down,
Life Up,
right? So
yes.
thank you for coming and being a part of the platform. So please, just tell our folks that are out there what exactly you do, why you do it, how you do it, and then we'll get some responses from folks at the end of the show.
Okay. Well, I've been part of this organization since 2010.
Okay.
It was originated through Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx. And I wound up jumping on ship. I was performing for the organization for a while. And I do a lot of things inside the school with the youth, helping mentoring them in the different ways, teaching tap dance and teaching hip hop. And a lot of these kids needed some kind of leadership to not pick up these guns and kill each other. So I felt like since I was someone I was from the era and from around the same neighborhood they grew up at, I was able to relate to them more. And they was able to take my advice. So I took on that job, and I saved a whole lot of lives in high school and middle school of that nature. So I'm blessed for that. Like the brother just said, I just went through the same situation when it hit home with my son. My son was just affected by gun violence just a year ago. He was shot in the head in Patterson Projects.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Thank God he survived. Thank God he survived, and he's almost at 100% recovery. So that's definitely a blessing. I mean, so it makes me more, I'll say, responsible now, even though it hit home, to really get out there and really, touch the people, to let them know that if this can happen to me at home, then it can happen to anybody. I mean, so I do the job every day. I'm normally, me and my partner, we normally the first one on scene when someone's actually affected by gun violence. We are right there in the ER with the families, trying to console them and let them know to keep their head and stay strong. That their family members or whoever that's in that room at the time was going to pull through. So you're just trying to get them some encouragement. That's what I'm talking about. Now, King Conway, thank you, brother, for blessing us with your presence, first and foremost. My question is, I always find it amazing, cats that do what you do in the community and in the hoods and everything. Most definitely. What question always pops in my mind is, because I in my free time have to speak to the youth as well. How do you find it, or how easy or hard is it for you to get through some of these guys? Because some of these kids,
They already think they're 30 years old. They're young, but they think they're 35. And when you come to them with the stats, the numbers, the truth,
Right.
the facts,
Right.
some of them fight you at every turn just to
Right.
accept the facts in the conversation. You know what I mean? Do you have a certain technique, or do you approach people different, or do you have several techniques?
I approach every situation differently because everybody thinks differently. You know what I mean? So you have to know who you're dealing with, and you have to understand the age group that you're dealing with as well.
Right.
Like middle school don't think like middle school anymore. They think in high school and beyond. So the conversations you have to have with them, it can't be as you're talking to a little kid. You have to really get personal and get in their face and let them know, listen, what you think you know, you really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like what you talking about doing, I've done in my life. You have never even touched a gun before. You know what I'm saying? But you put these in your songs. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So a lot of people is doing things just for clout and not even living up to what they talking about.
Right.
You know?
Interesting.
So when you actually, so when you actually talk to these kids, you have to really, sometimes you have to use the same language they're using so they can understand, like, listen, I'm just not your teacher. I'm from the block. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Respect me as just as if you respect someone that you grew up with. So once you have that communication, and the first thing is really important when you're talking to anybody, is build on trust and respect. You know, when you come in the room thinking you know everything, they're like, okay, who is this nigga right here talking to me crazy? Like, you don't even know me, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't tell me, you can't tell me something that you, I mean, so sometimes you just have to talk to them as if you would talk to one of your boys. You know what I mean? And I think that works for me because I look like them, I talk like them, I dress like them. So that helps in my favor.
Got you.
Now, really quick, it's not just in the Bronx, correct? You take
there's organizations all throughout New York City.
Are you partnering with any other organizations?
Well, we do a lot of partnerships with SOS, Release the Grip, a lot of these different organizations that's a part of not just the Bronx, but Queens, Long Island, Brooklyn. My boy Trife, he's out there, he has his own movement. So there's a lot of us, we always come together, we do these marches and these rallies for the youth and just the families itself.
So how is it connected with the Black Lives Matter movement? Like, are you guys like? Because I know like a lot of the rhetoric is Black Lives Matter, but what about this gun crime and what about this black on black crime? Like,
well, what we do is while we have everybody there fighting for Black Lives Matter, we also address the gun thing that's happening in the community, because it seems like since Corona happened, more gun violence has happened.
Right. I mean, Talent was saying that the other week. He was like,
it has happened because people were just out here just going crazy now. You know what I mean? They've been locked in their house. You release the animals out. Now they just doing things just to do things. You know what I mean? So we have to really get control back of our city because it's rough out here. I mean, I just went to a funeral from a 1-year-old baby. He just got shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's rough.
That was around my way on like in Madison.
Yeah.
Madison.
Yeah. So you know it's serious out here. It's definitely serious.
I would like to, as you're going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine.
Like as we continue to go, because again, we don't know who's watching this, you know, so it's always, like you said, to be able to give messages and put out something positive, because even when we were young, people tried to talk to us.
Most definitely, and I was definitely one of those kids.
Right,
I was too.
Can you give a very positive, easy message or something? It don't even have to be easy, but to help whoever's going to see this broadcast. It could be young folks, because we're going to share this to whomever and everybody to kind of just because it's hard to get it through to young people.
My advice is you have to know and have your own vision. You know, just in any craft that you actually doing, like it doesn't matter if you're a rapper, comedian, singer, you have to understand, you have to become a leader, because there's not too many leaders in our society these days. It's not. You know, so you have to become that and start your own trend. Like my teacher, I don't know if he's in it, his name is Derek. When I was in high school, I started my own trend. I wore tap shoes in my back pocket, and I created my own movement. I had kids walking in school with their tap shoes in their back pocket. So, you know, and it's like, he's the kid from the block. Like, You understand what I'm saying? So you have to know yourself and just stay in your own lane. You don't have to do something that everybody else is doing just to be cool. You can be yourself and still be all right.
Right.
I mean, and respected. Honestly, you'd be more respected if you just stay true to yourself.
Right.
I feel like it's really hard now, especially with social media, to be an individual, because when I see people, or when I see girls, I see my daughter, and I'm like, you look like every other girl, like with these long legs and this long hair. Y'all look like the same chick. Like all of y'all look like the same person.
Right.
It's really hard to
you're
be
right.
an individual, you know, because it's like we had the television, but we didn't have this social media. Here's my life. Here's my life. Here's my life. All in your face and all the guns and all this money. And 14-year-old kids talking about they want $2,000 belts. You're like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like the reality is just warped in my opinion. And when you said talk to the youth, like I speak in organizations sometimes, but I really don't talk to the youth like I should. And when you and Talent was saying that and Shawn, I was like, I got to do a better job at that, because there is a little girl that is coming up that had the same situation that I had, and I could speak to her life. Yeah, it's true.
So, brother Kartier, can you do us a favor, man, and please give the folks that are watching any information where they can connect with you if they want to help and do something on
most definitely
level, because there are people that might want to do these things. They just, hey, well, I don't know who to connect. So could you give that information out, please?
Most definitely. You can get me on Facebook. It's Kartier Conway. It's Kartier, last name Conway, Conway. Or Instagram. You can hit me my DM. I will definitely answer you. It's Kartir231. Kartier 231.
I respect your energy, brother, and I know how hard it is in these streets and with these kids and dealing with our youth. And it takes your type of energy and your resolve to break through these kids, because that's really what it is. Like when I look back at the people they would send to talk to us when we was wilding as kids, that energy ain't gonna work today.
It's not.
It barely works.
Not.
That day, it ain't gonna work today.
You got somebody with a suit and tie, like, you
it ain't gonna work.
And you're right.
But I mean, because to be honest with you, bro, I remember back then. Now you talking when we grown up, we 50 now, but when we was kids and 13 and 12, it was barely working with us. You know what I mean? So you can't go in there with that suit and tie.
We ain't French.
Onika, own your 62 years old. Own your 62. Don't run, my black sister. Own it. So listen, I feel your energy, man, and that's the energy. Like if I had to bring people to talk to a community and an abundance of youth around me or anywhere, you're the type of guy I'm running to recommend to talk to them, as opposed to the guy that's coming in too soft. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like it's like a landing strip with our kids today. Because they grew up rough, they're gonna be rough. They're a product of their environments, and sometimes you gotta get ready for a crash landing, man. To make you understand, I gotta put the fear of God in you sometimes.
You're right. I mean, and like I'm in the streets, like I'm really in their neighborhood. You know what I mean? So like I go to their block and I'll talk to them on their block and let them know, like, yo, it's okay. Like y'all don't gotta be doing this out here. Stop gambling in front of your building. Like y'all trying to stay out of trouble. Stop doing things that call cops to come over here. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And if you give them love and respect, like you guys said at the top of the segment, they receive.
Yeah, they definitely will. They definitely will follow. They will definitely follow your leadership. They definitely will follow you for sure.
Hey, thank you. I want to
thank you, my brother. Thank you.
No problem. Anytime you need me, brother.
Yes, sir. I will be. I'll be hitting you this week. I already got some things I need to talk to you about.
Please put your information in the chat. Please put your information in the chat.
I don't know if you remember me, Tyler, but I opened up for you in Capone at the Paolo.
Get out of here.
Oh, he don't remember no new comedians. Trust me, it don't matter.
No, the King Show. The King Show. The King Show.
Yeah, the King Show.
I remember.
Yeah, I was just singing the tap dance at that time.
Yes, sir. I remember. You had a nice little click with you. I remember.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Proud of you, brother. Proud of you.
Thank you, man.
Listen, it's Onika. We got about it's 9:17, so we want to go into really quick, open up the floor. Because
I want to hear from Vonda, because she has been like really.
So everybody that's on their camera stopped and their mic stopped, please unmute yourselves and let me see. Yeah, unmute yourselves, bring yourselves on, and we only do have about 15
minutes.
Yeah, about that much the week before we wrap it up. But we do want to hear from you. So, Onika, you know how you do with your open forum and tell the rules to this. Let them know to keep their time, their communication under certain time. But we want to hear from you.
All right, so this is the segment of Enough is Enough where we have the nation speak. So you guys have heard from our two guests and they were very informative, very helpful to the community, but we want to hear from you guys now. But we ask that you keep it at a minimum, 1 minute. So please keep yourself timed, 1 minute if possible, because we want to hear from everybody that we can. But I want to start with Vonda because she's been very,
hold up. That's my aunt Vonda. Hold up, Vonda. You hold up a second. Let's go right to Amir. Amir looks upset.
Vonda has been doing what? No.
I'm just playing.
Amir, if you want to go first, feel free.
It's all good. My quick contribution to this whole thing. First and foremost, thank you guys for having me on here. I'm honored and feel blessed. Just quickly to some of the things that were said earlier, by some of the guests. Everything from the family violence and people having to deal with domestic violence. A big key to any and all of this for each and every person who's on this thing and who's watching it. Please, y'all, we've got to go back to learning how to love ourselves.
Yes.
One of the caveats that we don't really talk about. We talk about getting counseling and all these other wonderful things, but you got to learn to look yourself in the mirror every day and be happy with the person you see who's staring back at you from that mirror. You got to love that person. You got to respect that person. As the young man Kartier just said, you got to learn how to be in your own lane.
Yeah.
And rock with your journey. Don't worry about what people are doing to the left of you, to the right of you, in front of you, behind you. It's your story. It's your journey. Do what works for you. Stop letting other people try to write your story. This ain't their story. This is your story. So as long as you do those things, and as long as you put yourself in that headspace every day, and it starts with being mindful and thankful for everything. I woke up this morning. I'm thankful.
Yes.
Friends and family, people who care about me. I'm thankful. I'm dead serious. You have no idea how powerful it is to just be thankful for and look for the good in each and everything that happens in your life every day. Get worried about all the bad stuff. I'm not saying don't be concerned about things going on in the world, but you got to learn how to focus and look for the greatness of everything and let that be how you are. And that's really my what I'd like to say and contribute to what you guys are talking about today.
Thank you, Amir. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Amir. Can we have Vonda now?
So I just, I've been doing this work for over 32 years. So I think my comments is based upon what I've seen. And I think that when we talk about the domestic violence piece, I myself, and all of what I've done, I don't work with the domestic violence population because I don't understand it. I'm that person that looks at you like, what you mean you can't leave? Like, what? I could help you. Pack your shit. Let's go.
No, it's not that easy.
Right. But that's what I realized. And I think that what I realized as a professional is that I have to first define what population I cannot serve, so that I don't put people at risk. I also realized that, and I'm the director now of Arches in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, and East New York. And all of my kids are gang involved. They're off the chart. But what I realized is when I start looking at the families, these are the children and the grandchildren of the other population I'm used to dealing with that are currently incarcerated, coming home from incarcerated, or just lost in the system because of criminal justice involvement. So when you look at these kids, what you will find is there is no guidance. There's nobody teaching them anything. And if, I forgot, I think he signed off, if people like him, SOS and Think Tank and Man Up are not there, these kids wouldn't have anybody to really put them on point and keep them grounded. And I think that what is surprising to me, what's so surprising to me is that we put these kids in these programs, but we're not doing a holistic approach. You got to do the whole family. The program is only from 9 to 2 or 9 to 1, and then you're expecting them to go back into the war zone, which is for the family. So we've got to really push forward in trying to treat this epidemic of violence and lost children from a holistic perspective. We gotta, as we say when I worked in Albany, we gotta change the tires on the car as the car's moving. We can't stop, then put the car up, change each tire as we go. We gotta keep this thing going. So I just think that, this forum here, Talent, thanks for inviting me. You know what your auntie likes. I think that we have to keep this conversation going, and we got to invite more people. And we also have to invite what I like to say, the unusual suspects. And the unusual suspects are the people who sit on the sidelines, have a lot of comments, but don't want to come into the trenches.
Right.
And we can't get this work done if you want to be the cheerleader or the naysayer. But then when they hit you in the head, now you want to be, hey, Talent, put me on your show. No,
Yeah.
Take that head and go sit your ass down. You know what I'm saying? And let it marinate. Seriously. Because now it's because you a victim, now you want to be part of.
Yeah.
And we need people who want to get on the front line, roll their sleeves up, and not be scared. Because if you're scared,
I know
then
that's right.
You're functioning out of fear. And that's
Well,
all
thank you very much, Auntie. I appreciate you. That's my Aunt Vonda. She's definitely professional at this thing with decades of experience and know what she's talking about. Before we go on to the next comment, I want to we're going to give out an award every week. The Perfect Consistent Zoom Angle Award goes to Denise Cooney. She always finds that same perfect angle. You don't know if she's in a mansion or like one of those tour buses. It's just a perfect angle.
Let me see where she at.
Look at Denise Joy. Last week, she even had somebody with her and fitted in that same angle.
In the corner, right?
Yes.
That was her husband. That was her husband.
Yeah,
He knew what to do.
perfect.
That was Frank.
Yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead, guys.
I think we got time for one more if anybody wants to chime in really quickly.
Well, Derek's there. We can't let Derek sit silent. Matter of fact, fun fact, Kartier was the student to Derek. You see, he was talking. He briefly said, "Oh, my teacher." I think he's still in here, Derek. But this is Derek right here. Proud CEO, founder of the Real Dads Network. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having this platform, and thank the presenters as well. Listen, I'm just sitting back, man, and I'm like, wow, that's my student. That's my student. Oh man, that's my student right there. And that's really what it's all about. When you have the young people taking the lead in terms of going out there and making it happen.
Yes.
So in order for this to work, we all have to, know what our lanes are. And then get behind those people and support those who are actually on the front line.
Right.
So those people because there's some of us, I'm gonna be real with you, some of us are not gonna go in certain places. And there are some of us who will go in certain places. So we gotta get behind those people who are on the front line and just do what we need to do. There's a part for everybody, but everybody doesn't have to be the lead character. Right. But every part is important.
Thank you.
Every role is important.
Yes.
Right.
But again, thank you guys for providing this platform.
Thank you for your profound words in 30 seconds.
Okay, so now follow the lead, Onika. Follow the lead, and we're gonna close it and wrap it up with a final word from Talent, Onika, before I wrap it up really quick, y'all.
Okay. Talent, you go first.
Okay, well, my dog's going crazy because the storms are coming. We're getting these storms here in New York because of the hurricane. I just want to say, in closing, this forum right here, we're going to bring this thing every week, as many weeks as God allows us to. And we're going to be putting people feet to the flame, challenging people at every angle and corner, just like my aunt said, and hold people accountable, make them come on here. Because Kartier touched on something since he said, if you pay attention, he said something I've been saying for years. We don't have a lot of leaders. We have a lot of pretend leaders who step up when there's money and checks to be cut. But when we go to war, we find ourselves out there in a line with nobody in the front.
By yourself. Yep.
You know what I mean? You by yourself with no representation. So we're going to be going through the community. We're going to be picking all these people apart and seeing if you really got what it takes or you just formed this thing to get a check cut.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Thank you guys for being a part of it.
Thank you, guys.
brother.
Thank you.
That's what Enough Is Enough is. We're calling ourselves on the carpet. We're calling the whole world on the carpet, and we're saying that we got to do better because enough is enough. So it is enough with domestic violence and gun violence and just self-hatred. Actually, you have to. Every time I ask someone, have they gone to see a therapist, or do they meditate, or are they doing anything with self-care? Black people's first response is always, well, Black people don't really do that. But why? We're just people. We all have trauma and pain. And I really feel that we need to embrace psychotherapy more because we're hurting. And the only way that you can cure something is to really get to the heart of it. So if you're going through domestic violence, like I said before, please take that questionnaire and keep watching, guys, because we are going to do some great work in this space.
Thank you. And just to wrap it up, we're doing really good on time. Thank you all so much for your comments. Thank you, Sherneice, again for being here. Thank you, Kartier, for being here. Thank you, Brother Derek, for suggesting and bringing your student to light to give us some information. And one of the lines in my song, Enough Is Enough, is, where are our leaders? What the hell are they doing? Why are their voices so silent? And that's what I felt when I wrote the song, and I still feel that way. And we touched on it tonight. But this has been a wonderful thing. I'm so appreciative of everybody who contributes and comes to even just hang out and not say anything because you're here. That means you want to support and help. So thank you so much again. Next week, we're going to be, we talked about it really quickly tonight. Parenting. It's talking about the youth and the children. So next week, one of next week's topics is going to be parenting, old school or new school. But we have to have it. So we're going to discuss that. We'll probably, because basically I think everyone here is probably a parent.
Yeah.
We all had to raise children, and we've all been raised old school. So that's going to be next week's show. This show again is streaming live on my page, Shawn Cornelius, and I'm going to take it and edit it and put it on my YouTube channel, Shawn Cornelius Entertainer. So please just send people to it, and let's keep getting the word out there, because that's what this is all about. And we are making a difference weekly, no matter what we think, just by coming together, and people are seeing it. They're not just seeing it locally, they're seeing it across the country. So let's continue. God bless each and every one of you. Continue blessings. Be safe. The storm is coming. It's thundering and lightning over here. So please take care of yourself if you're stepping out. But we look to see you again here next week. Same station for Enough Is Enough SC2020. God bless you guys. Have a good night.
God bless you. Good night.
God bless you.
Yeah, I'm going to edit this so you can keep talking if you want, but I'm going to end my portion of it.
Well, are you sick of crap?
Because Onika wants to start. You want to start talking. I know you want to start talking. I know you want to start talking. We don't want to start. You don't put your glasses on, so you're ready to start talking again.
Look, I couldn't see shit. I couldn't see shit. I was like, domestic violence.
I'm going to cut it off and edit it right at when I say good night. God bless. Love you, man. You got to take care. Talk to you soon. Peace.